It's kind of a simple process. You just hook your 1/2-inch rope to this, then tow it behind the boat. Simple as that. If there's a knot in the rope will slide through, the knot fetches up, and then you'll get a trap with a single trap with just rope. Well, if they're made of anything larger than 1/2 inch than these, you see how they're bent. Some of them are straightened right out. If you make them any heavier than that and get caught, they won't straighten out. If you're hooked behind a rock, you lose your grapple because you'll part your 1/2 inch rope before that'll bend that steel. So if you make them light enough, those size are the best. Any heavier than 1/2 inch and you're looking for trouble.
And then
you'll lose your grapple. They won't spread on a lobster trap when they hook a trap, but they will open up if they get hooked into a rock or something that you can't pick up. You can actually straighten it out and get your grapple back, and then straighten your hook back out. It's simple. All you got to do is turn them like that and put a pipe over it, and then bend them back in shape. Be good for any depth as long as it was heavy enough, but this one, probably 30 fathom would be the max. And 30 fathom of water, you'd have to have probably 120 fathom of rope, 4 times the water depth in order to keep it on the bottom. If you don't, it'll just be like it'll touch and jump, touch and jump. A heavier one, you could, scallop bar would work the same way with hooks on it, and you could tow in 60, 70, 80 fathom with it if you wanted to.
What about what kind of bottom does this work best on? Does it matter?
Gravel, sand. It will work on rocky bottom too, if you have them soft enough that they'll bend, because they will bounce along the rock bottom and catch them too. But persistence is what it takes. You may try for the trap a dozen times, and you come to the conclusion it's not there. It can't be there. I passed over there, 10 times and I haven't hooked it, but it's still there. It's just that sometimes the grapple isn't where you think it is, because when there's 100 fathom rope out from there to the boat, that grapple could be 50 feet over there. It may be towing straight to the stern of the boat, but the rope's got a big sweep, so you're nowhere near that trap when you actually come shoulder water. Now you can do it because you can shorten your rope up and you can keep the grapple right at the stern of the boat. The deeper the water, the harder it is to know where the grapple actually is. You just have to be aware of your surroundings when the grapple's hanging there with a bunch of gear on it, ropes going every which way, snapping and banging. Don't be standing with your feet in a coil of rope that's on the floor in case something does break. You're going to go over the side with the rest of it. Take a knife and start cutting some of the lines off. Mark where they are. You can grapple there and get them back again, if you're into too big a mess. But other than that, it's not dangerous just to tow the grapple. But when you get into a mess with all that's when it gets dangerous. Now, Reed Brown's rig, he doesn't have to worry about it. He just puts a hook over the side and picks it all up at once. But when you're doing it with something like this, you can't do that. Yeah. Unless you've got a boom winch aboard that you can do that with, and that's probably the safest thing to do. You have a boom winch in, and when you get a mess like that, just swing it over, hook on, and pick it up and put it in the boat. Stand clear of it, and there wouldn't be any problems. But all we use is a trap hauler, and we use a hook that hangs from the davy block, so that when we get the grapple up so high, we can hook the hook into the chain and hold the grapple, so we can free up the hauler to use the hauler to haul the lines in. And then we just take one at a time, put a rope grab on them, and get it so we can get the rope in the hauler and haul that one up and out of the way. And then that's the way we keep doing it until we get them all aboard. You got to take your time. You can't rush it, because sometimes they're hooked in twice through the wire, and it's quite a job just to get the trap out of the hook. You want a knife at your reach no matter where you are, where you're standing, to the stern of the boat. You want one sheath everywhere, so that if something does happen, if you're going out over the stern, you got access to a knife to grab before you go over the back of the stern, and right at your feet, or have one on you strapped to your We always did have. Everybody had a knife in their pocket, just in case. But you got 2 or 3 guys aboard. Just make sure that each guy's looking out for the other to make sure that he's not doing something stupid, standing where he shouldn't be, or just pay attention. Basically, is all it is. Keep your head in the game, what you're doing, not on a ball game or a hockey game somewhere.
No texting?
No texting. No, you don't want to be texting or, yeah, for sure when you're doing it. But it is fun. Anybody that tries it will enjoy it. It is a lot of fun.